Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Reiko Iwanaga. I'm with Contemporary Asian Theater Scene and also with Arts Action 21. It's our pleasure to bring you this program in celebration of National Arts and Humanities Month and also to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this beautiful site. It's also my privilege to introduce our Mistress of Ceremonies, and she's a perfect pick because she is an advocate for Mountain View. She's been elected twice to the City Council, 2006 and 2010. She has served as a vice mayor and mayor in 2009. Since her graduation from Harvard many years ago, or maybe it's not many years ago, she's devoted herself to a lot of community service, and we are so pleased that she's joining us today. Two things I want to mention. She is here today in spite of her daughter's birthday, and secondly, she is running for county supervisor for District 5, so you might keep that in mind. May I introduce the Honorable Margaret Abe Koga.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Reiko, for the kind introduction. On behalf of the City of Mountain View, it's really my honor to be here to welcome you to today's concert, which is titled Exploring Artistic Heritage. And this piano and chamber music concert is one part of a regional celebration of National Arts and History Month, which is being co-presented this year by Arts Action 21 and CATS, which stands for Contemporary Asian Theater Scene. This celebration promotes arts awareness and appreciation by presenting emerging and established artists to the Silicon Valley community. And we're really fortunate here in Mountain View to have a vibrant art scene. We're, I like to call it ourselves a small, big city. And a large part of our art scene has to do with our Center for Performing Arts here, which, as Reiko mentioned, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of this beautiful facility. And the second stage especially is one of my favorites because of the intimate setting here and the opportunity to really get up close and personal. This afternoon, there was another presentation here on the second stage, which was called Multicultural Perspectives, which showcased 4 ethnic dance and music groups. That program and tonight's program celebrates the achievements of the center, which opened its doors with a ribbon-cutting ceremony on January 19, 1991. Over the past 20 years, the center has become a vibrant heart of downtown Mountain View. We're very proud of our little downtown here. It's the home of world-class theater, dance, and music, along with visual arts displays that you'll probably have saw in our lobby. We also hold lectures and corporate events. Over 170,000 people annually flock to downtown to see these shows, and they also stop and shop and eat in our restaurants on the way, which we're very thankful of. And so I want to thank you all for coming this evening and sharing your evening with us here in Mountain View. I now have the honor of introducing the moderator for this evening, Mr. Hector Armienta, who is a nationally recognized composer and the founder and artistic director of Opera Cultura, and who also serves as the program director for Music for Schools at the Community School of Music and Arts, which is also here in Mountain View. Before I turn the program over to Hector, I'd like to remind you to please silence your cell phones. I did that before I got up here, or your pagers and other electronic devices. And also please note that cameras, recording equipment, food and drink are not permitted during the program. So please join me in welcoming Hector to the stage. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, so I'm so glad that you came to this concert. I had the privilege of being the moderator last year, where Patricia Cheng also performed, and as did Po Wei Lai. It was quite an amazing concert, so I'm so glad that they were able to do it again. So this program, these are some of the notes that Patricia actually gave me. So I want to be sure that I read them correctly. So this program will illuminate the role of the past in the creative process through performances of and discussion of these works. First being the Bach Prelude and Fugue in E-flat major from the Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 2, the Beethoven Sonata for piano and horn, the Brahms Ballades, Opus 10, and the Brahms Horn Trio, Opus 40. I do want to make a special note that as performers, particularly for Patricia, is she is exploring her own artistic heritage. And so the main focus of this concert is actually Brahms. And so it's through that work, the works that she has on the concert, that we're really going to explore what it means to explore your artistic heritage. So Brahms, as many composers do, they draw from the past. And the two primary composers that he drew from was both Bach and Beethoven. So that is part of our exploration today. So to talk a little bit about the first piece that is going to be performed, the Bach Prelude. This is a short selection from Bach's work, the Well-Tempered Clavier, which includes 2 sets of preludes and fugues in all 24 major and minor keys. That's a lot. The Well-Tempered Clavier is generally considered to be one of the most influential works in the history of Western classical music, having inspired many composers, including Beethoven, Mozart, and Chopin. So again, it's the first piece that we're also later on going to explore that piece a little bit more as we also explore the theme of artistic heritage. But now I have the great honor of introducing our first performer, Patricia Cheng. Pianist Patricia Cheng has performed throughout the United States and abroad, and has been praised for her thoughtful programming and sensitive musicianship. One of her recent major projects was developing a concert titled Finding Home, a kaleidoscope of musical journeys, which she presented at the Community School of Music and Arts in 2010. She earned a master's degree in 2005 from the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, where she studied with Paul Hirsch. So now I'd like to introduce to you Patricia Cheng. If I could have a round of applause for her as she comes in. Thank you. wonderful piece, truly. Um, so the next piece that we're going to hear is the Beethoven Sonata for piano with horn. It's from Beethoven's early period. Of Beethoven, Brahms once said, "You do not know what it is like hearing his footsteps constantly behind one." When we know that Brahms performed this piece, and although it is different in character from Brahms' horn trio, it is one of the few models that Brahms had for composing for horn and piano in a small ensemble. So just as you did with the last piece, with this piece, try to think about and hear specific forms and melodies and motives that Brahms might have drawn from in his own early works, and how those developed in his pieces. So we're going to hear Patricia Cheng is going to come back with actually Armando Castellano on French horn. Armando, I had the pleasure of meeting many, many years ago in 1999. He's a wonderful friend, good colleague, and a wonderful performer. Mr. Castellano, Armando Castellano has performed in many of the Bay Area's regional orchestras and has spent much of the last 10 years organizing and performing chamber music. He's the founder and director of the Wind Quintet, Quinteto Latino. Through his work with this unique ensemble, Mr. Castellano has cultivated opportunities to perform classical music that is culturally relevant for him and is for his community. So if I could have another round of applause, please, for the two performers. Thank you.
I decided to perform this concert together, which has been a lot of fun. She invited me to perform the series that we're doing this month. We're playing this concert 3 times. And we discussed pieces. She actually found this piece for us. I didn't even suggest, she got on the ball and looked at research pieces for horn and piano and found this one, which is very popular for horn players. I haven't had a chance to play it in my career, so I'm excited to do it for you guys. One of the stories I liked about it is that Beethoven wrote it for a friend of his, who was a very famous horn player. He developed a technique where you play the French horn just by moving your hand to change the notes, which is how they used to play the horn in Beethoven's time. They didn't have these things called valves. They just moved their hand around. Well, it's really hard to do. We don't do it anymore because we have these valves. Thank goodness. And so if you can imagine this piece being played without any of the valves, it's pretty incredible. And what was the horn player's name?
Giovanni Punto.
Giovanni Punto. And he was so famous. And when Beethoven wrote the piece, he was more famous than Beethoven. So, of course, later we remember. Does anybody remember Giovanni Punto? And I like that because he wrote it for his friend Giovanni, and they were friends. So it was, and I feel like Trisha and I are now really good friends, and I think we'll stay friends and keep playing together. So it's nice to be able to have this parallel between us as well. So. French horn players have to do this sort of ballet with their horn in between movements to get the condensation and water out of it.
Just showing off.
No, I'm not. You really have to do it.
I mean, you're just trying to get attention somehow.
It's better than during the piece when you don't want me spinning. It's better in between.
Thank you.